Lennox Maxine. What's that baby name? Lennox Maxine. What? Lennox Maxine. What? Lennox Maxine. Lennox Maxine. Lennox Maxine. What's that baby? What's that baby name? I asked, what's that baby name? Lennox Maxine. Lennox Maxine. Lennox Maxine. Lennox Maxine. Lennox Maxine. I'm looking for something, but I can't seem to find that something. But I got a theory. An Austin theory. Stupid ass. It's the motherfucking theory. Chopstick came with a Warzone man. It's flipping the nigga. I ain't got no aim. In the cut, in my hand, they be vibing. Yeah, I'm about to eat this shit immediately, but I ain't gonna lie, I got that Popeyes on deck. I got some roaches.
See for yourself, genius. Tasty trade.
Even the most chill appearance, no one
All right.
to go into.
About to pee right quick.
Nothing kills more viruses on more surfaces than Lysol disinfectant spray.
Sometimes these thoughts in my head speak so loud. Every little thing that I think about just builds on top of the pain and doubt. Even though I'm just letting it out, I try to act like I don't mind it. Try to keep my mouth so quiet, but sitting there in my silence just seems to amplify. Thought they keep it this inside would make it better. Never thought that
pack that. Crack. Come on, punch. Chain. Woo. Allah. I don't want you. Get back that block out. What? Quick. Oh, I wasn't trying to land on the ball, my bad. I can't see. Yeah, what my controller charge is? I always lose that shit. That shit though, I say, where is that, bro? That shit is right here. If you ain't getting money, I ain't fucking with y'all. Yeah, with your calculator. Go on, pop that pussy. Pop that pussy. Seller. Bitches in the back. Bitch, I got boppies. Bitch, I got bops. Bitch, I got boppies. Bitch, I got bops. They trying to show stop. They thinking they hot scotch. I told them to show stop. They are in a side cops. Shut up. Any bitches that I got all these big bops. Hold on. I wish that you would love me. I wish that you would love me more. But me. Oh, thank you, Jesus. And the crack did it. Bro, big bullshit. I swear. Look, it's right here too, bro. Check me out. Oh, cause that's so bullshit, bro. I swear that's so bullshit. Check me out. Hold on. I gotta go to the car right quick. Wherever my key at, I gotta go to the car right quick.
The tone influences how readers respond. With Grammarly, just highlight your text and type how you want to sound. Get your message right every time. Download it for free at Grammarly.com. Fast and efficient SIM
Why is the piece right here though?
Featuring upgraded screen display.
That motherfucker really broke, y'all. I hate, bro. This is one reason that's keeping me from getting a new bone. I swear to G. I swear. Put it right there. I don't have a lighter nearby me. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, earlier I was offline and I started watching Dead Meat. Basically, they go. It's like a kill count of like horror movies and shit. And I started watching the one for Final Destination. Um, I started watching the one for Final Destination, and that bitch was. I'm on the fourth one now. I done watched the first three. Watched the first three. What a remote. I think I watched the first three.
Welcome to the kill count, where we tally.
I gotta go back to my history right quick. Hold on. Yeah, I'm on the fourth one.
I am here to tell you today that your feelings are valid. Your trauma is valid. Your hurt is your hurt. I discovered better help 2 years ago and my life changed. You wear these shoes. You know where it hurts. No one can tell you how your shoes hurt you because they are not wearing it for you. If it hurts you, my love, it hurts you. Every human being has different capacity. The capacity you have as a human being is different from the next person. How you react might be completely different, and that's fine because you are you. It is valid. That was a huge aspect of my healing journey because I just felt embarrassed to talk about what I was going through because I felt like it was too light of a situation for me to even consider. Finally, when I was ready to confront that trauma, I had the right support and the help by my side to go through that. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service that's done 100% online. We're busy people, and BetterHelp gives you that flexibility. With BetterHelp, you have the opportunity to tap into a diverse network of over 30,000 licensed
I'm about to do that
therapists
shit.
that are
Fuck that.
available by your preference, your needs, and your location. It is so easy to get started today. All you have to do is answer a few questions on your needs and preferences when it comes to therapy. And BetterHelp will match you with therapists that suits those needs and preferences. And if for any reason your match therapist doesn't work with you, you don't feel the energy or the vibe with the therapist, you have the option of changing them at no additional cost. You can choose to text, phone call, or video call your therapist. You don't necessarily have to step out of the house. You can do everything in one space. You definitely don't have to struggle alone. You don't have to fight alone. Whether you actually believe it or not, there are people with similar situations that you have experienced, and there are people who have helped those people through their own trauma.
It looks like a Han Solo. Freezing process.
Ask myself, where are the birds that eat things? Rouge is on the south side.
You know me so well. Kill count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite. Welcome to the kill count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James H. Denise, and today we're looking at the Final Destination, which is a fancy way of saying Final Destination 4 and or Final Destination 3D. Yep, this is the much maligned 3D extravaganza that came out in 2009, the same year as Saw 3. Perhaps it's not a coincidence that I fucking hate both these movies. Also, heads up, I'm recording this after I got back from SummerSlam, and my voice is still kind of shot. Sorry, but that's bound to happen after you witness Seth Rollins frog splash Brock Lesnar through an announcer's table.
Yeah.
Eyes don't deceive you. That is, in fact, Chelsea and me back there, fist pumping our brains.
Yeah. Bruh, believe it or not, I forgot why or I think everybody was like done testing or some shit, bruh. Tell me why we was in English. What grade I was in? I want to say 7. It had to be 7. It had to be. But We was in fucking seventh. Yeah, 2009. Yeah, seventh grade, bro. Bro, bro. Tell me why after we was done testing, the motherfucker decided to put that shit on the projector. Like what? What? I watched it. I was kind of fucking around with people in the classroom, but I was watching it. But bro, I was in seventh grade watching this shit. And back then, I wasn't even really big on horror movies, man. I was still terrified of fucking the fucking paranormal activity, you know. So, like, I wasn't even really into shit like that back then, man. I really watched this stupid shit, and that shit was dumb as hell.
Walking, talking, gaping assholes that'll afflict any viewer with a serious case of misanthropy. Characters have never been Final Destination's focus, but as the movies carried on, the side characters evolved from being boring and forgettable to obnoxious and cynical, with everyone either a snarky douchebag or a walking hard-on. Final Four is the culmination of that evolution, and while some people argue that this is intentional, because watching shitty characters die is enjoyable, that only gives us a few bloody moments of satisfaction. The other 80 whatever minutes, we've just got to sit there and deal with their bullshit. Once again, James Wong and Glenn Morgan, who made the first and third movies, were swapped out with writer Eric Bress and director David R. Ellis, who made the second movie. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Perennial producer Craig Perry also returned, always a champion of increasing the gore. But unfortunately for Final Four, the graphic kills, which have always been the sole strength and indeed raison d'etre of the franchise, are really unsatisfying. Everything looks way too cartoonish and fake, and I get that this movie's going for a more darkly comedic tone, but make me laugh at jokes or circumstances, not your shitty digital effects. How many people will die as this series hits rock bottom? Let's find out and get to the kills of the Final Destination. How many people will die as this series hits rock bottom? Let's find out and get to the kills of the Final Destination. The movie begins with a pretty cool song by Shinedown.
Devour.
Awesome, I'm fucking pumped. Too bad this movie's about to shit.
Devour. That was my song, bro. Man, bro. Hold on, let me hit this right quick. Hold on. Bruh, I forgot what pay-per-view it was. But bruh, y'all already know most of the songs that I do know is from wrestling. Most of them. Half of them. But I started listening to my first rock band by looking at a Rey Mysterio tribute video. So yeah, you can say half of them. But bruh, out of all those songs, bruh, I really used to listen to that fucking song. I really used to listen to that bitch. I listen to a lot of fucking wrestling music, but like, bruh, that song right there, I used to be bumping that bitch. Like, bumping that bitch. Like, I remember them fucking MP3 players where you can like plug it into your computer, like from the MP3 player type shit. Like the one, it's like the portable bitches that also got the fucking USB thing on the end of that bitch. Yeah, I had one of them hoes. Multiple of them, but that one, I remember that was one in my head. Bruh, I used to be playing that shit, boy. Man. Ooh, Jesus. These are some roach blunts. Ooh, just 3. I'm just trying to get through it. was what I initially went out there for. I didn't fucking get it. Jesus Christ. Y'all ready for this? Da 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 da. But yeah, that fucking Shinedown song, Devour, underrated as hell. Underrated as hell. I ain't know the A piece needed this big ass fucking box. Bowl BQ, stupid ass. Nobody want this fucking Bowl BQ, stupid ass shit.
Facts. How many people will die as this series hits rock bottom? Let's find out and get to the kills of the Final Destination. Stupid. The movie begins with a pretty cool song by Shinedown. Awesome, I'm fucking pumped. Too bad this movie's about to shit the bed hard. This not NASCAR race at McKinley Speedway is being watched by our soon-to-be prognosticator, Nick, played by Bobby Campo, who would go on to be that affair-having teacher in the Scream TV series. Which, yes, I've seen and I enjoy, and I hope to one day cover it somehow. He's here with more model cutout characters, like his girlfriend Lori, her friend Janet, and this Hunt dude, who's here actively rooting for the drivers to crash and die. You have to scrape them off the fence with a shovel. A shovel? Wow, Hunt, you're so fucking cool. Our future deja vu moments to herald the upcoming disaster include
Why does shit smell like a
share with a nearby couple, some signs that this building
musty female, like musty pussy female at that?
Who's a gentleman enough
Is it
for
me?
the sake of their sight lines, and
Gotta be me.
Emmanuel over there putting
Fuck it.
tampons in her kids' ears for sound protection. Because, yeah, a real person would totally do that. We also briefly see other future fugitives of death, including a mechanic there with his girlfriend, and a super unsubtle racist dude who whistles Dixie tunes at George, a black security guard. This
I'm good.
disaster kicks off with Death's go-to spell, Gust of Wind. He must be a huge-fledged Stormtail fan. It's wind all the fucking time with this guy. Like, what? Your wind can unscrew bolts now? That's some OP wind,
That's some OP wind.
It leaves a metal doohickey in the road, and that causes a disaster that starts killing people.
This message is brought to you by Deadpool.
There was a time when doctors promoted cigarette brands and routinely prescribed milk enemas. We've come a long way since then, people. We've learned that wearing a crossbody fanny pack is never flattering.
It's a goddamn fanny pack, and you know it.
That no matter how many endangered Mongolian sheep Don Jr. takes,
I'm surprised they
he'll
showed
never get
dude,
Daddy's approval.
TJ Miller.
Yeah? And we've learned that milk from a cow shouldn't really go into any human orifice. For decades, Big Tobacco received government subsidies to stay afloat, just like Big Dairy, while hiding over 700 studies that confirmed the dangers of smoking. Finally, in 2006, Big Tobacco was found guilty of violating civil racketeering laws. Right now, Big Dairy is using the same gaslighting tactics and continues getting subsidies, while the consumption and production of dairy makes us all sick and kills the planet. And with 29% of the 50 million children in public schools throwing away the cow's milk that's forced on them by our government every day, 300 million of our taxpayer dollars are doing this. Also, some corrupt politicians would sail his new yacht to Epstein Island.
Oh my god. Fucking Deadpool, bro. I couldn't skip it. I couldn't.
The deaths come via
Deadpool?
crushing, torso cutting, and Looney Tune sound effects. They also come via 3D wood shards. Whoa! OP wind, a premature pit stop exit leaves a metal doohickey in the road, And that causes a disaster that starts killing people with effects that could have been done by any 7th grader with an Adobe subscription. The deaths come via crushing, torso cutting, and Looney Tunes sound effects. They also come via 3D wood shards. Wow! We see a ton of nameless cartoon characters killed in various ways before Hunt and Janet are cartoonishly crushed by a chunk of ceiling. Then, even more nameless cartoons suffer the same cartoonish fate. It's weird to me that this looks so bad because they're just using the same technique they did in part 2, combining green screen shots with some digital additions. I don't know if it's the lighting or the parameters of their keying effect or what, but for some reason, everything looks real fake. Which is a damn shame, seeing as how they filmed a bunch of cool practical stuff at the Mobile International Speedway in Irvington, Alabama. Like, they had an actual car on actual fire slide down a green screen track into a pillar and a dummy. But in the actual movie, that shot doesn't feel so real. Part of me doesn't understand why they shot anything with dummies. Like when they slingshotted a 40-pound engine into one. Since in the movie, it all ends up looking digital. This premonitions disaster ends after Nick watches Lori and George get consumed by a fiery explosion that also blows him back and impales him. Whoa! Secret Red racetrack! Nick gets one look at the binocular views, the stylish cowboy, and those tampon earplugs, and he knows they've got to get the fuck out of there. His rush to leave causes, as always, a fight to break out. And, as always, a bunch of people get caught up in it and eject themselves from the situation, with the racist dude Carter telling his wife to stay in her seat. And, yeah, they named another character in the series Carter. No, I don't know why, since we all know there's only one thing you think of when you hear that name in a Final Destination movie.
Dick.
The characters yell at each other outside until they hear the crash taking place inside and see some awful-looking fiery chaos. Are you kidding me? Stop poisoning from these stupid redneck things. Dude, it looks like the stage show for Nero's flute concert back there. What the fuck's the matter with you? Anyway, most of what we saw in that vision is taking place right now. You know, minus the main character's dying. And a news report later literally spells out that 52 people died in the catastrophe. So we'll count 51 deaths right here, with a big old thanks to Action 7 for doing my job for me. And I took one off because while the racist dude Carter argues with security guard George about going back inside for his wife, the mechanic's wife, Nadia, gets killed by a wayward tire flying through the air. I'm assuming that news report counted her among the 52. The effect when it first happens is pretty bad, but I will give credit to the practical corpse they show afterwards. Then we get a title card and the most badass opening credits I've ever seen. In them, a dope-ass hard rock theme plays over X-ray depictions of the kills we've seen happen in the series. It's all very stylized and does a great job getting the viewer excited, since it reminds them of the best thing these movies have always had going for them, the gory graphic kills. But after that, we're back to the kill-free parts of the movie, which is never much fun in this series, because we gotta sit here listening to shitbag characters like Hunt.
It's your choice, heads or tails, but you know I like head.
A memorial is held for the accident victims, and while Nick and Lori are there, they run into the tampon mom, Samantha, and her husband. Samantha is played by Krista Allen, who, I've gotta say, is trying her damnedest in this role. She's come a long way from getting ogled at by Jim Carrey in an elevator.
Mama.
They thank Nick for saving their family with first draft generic dialogue, while bland, sappy music plays in the background.
Take care. Thank you.
This movie had a new composer after the woman who wrote the music for the first 3 films, Shirley Walker, sadly died of a stroke in 2006. At the time of her death, she had apparently scored more major motion pictures than any other American woman, and her work included James Wong and Glenn Morgan's other horror projects like Willard and the Black Christmas remake. Even the first film she worked on was horror, 1984's Ghoulies, which she co-composed with Richard Band. Rest in peace, Shirley. At the memorial, Nick and Lori also formally meet George, who's played by Master Shrimper Michael T. Williamson, previously seen on the kill count as Joe Dixon in Purge Election Year, where I somehow forgot to point him out. Dude was Benjamin Buford Blue. How could I miss that? Before George can tell the kids all the ways you can serve shrimp, racist Carter walks up and blames George for his wife's death.
I wanted to go in there after him, but
He spits a hard N-word at George and threatens him as he leaves. Later that night, Nick has visions in a dream, which are honestly just embarrassing. I feel like these are clues in an old Myst game. Should you get the red pages, Nick, or the blue ones? Nick doesn't know it yet, but that shitty vision was foreshadowing drunk-ass racist Carter driving a tow truck to George's house, where the security guard is shockingly shading in his character by reading from an AA book. Oh, and there's a picture with a lady in the back there, too? Wow, it's like he's a real person. Nice. But racist Carter doesn't see George as a person, and after the guard's lights go down, he gets straight to work putting up a cross to burn in George's front yard. Death also gets straight to work and knocks a bunch of stuff over until Carter's truck is driving on its own and playing War's Why Can't We Be Friends loudly through its speakers, which does admittedly make for some pretty funny music backing as racist Carter gets caught by the truck's hook and dragged down the street. Between sparks and gas, a fire gets going, and racist Carter is killed in what ends up being an outright comedy scene. That feels straight out of Scary Movie, complete with the explosion that produces a severed burning head. Props to actor Justin Wellborn, who did a partial burn stunt and was actually dragged down the street under the supervision of stunt coordinator Jeffrey J. Dashnow. And double props to stunt performer Steve Davison, who did a
And we
full
definitely
body
made
burn
it to
while being dragged down
the
street.
swimming
You
pool
know
part.
how I
So,
love
bruh,
a good fight
we were
scene.
watching
Now
this
put that
shit
guy out,
uncensored.
kid. As though racist Carter's death wasn't enough of a self-parody already, when news of his death is on TV the next day, we get a scene that's literally in the satirical horror comedy Cabin in the Woods, with a red-headed heroine standing around in her underwear solely for the sake of the camera. This movie is so bad and dumb that it's inadvertently a template for parodies. Nick has another crappy-looking vision that brings him images of scissors and cigarettes, an alt-rock album title if I've ever heard one, and he tells Lori that he thinks his dream from the previous night foretold him of the flaming tow truck incident.
Now that racist guy is dead.
Haha, yep, he is. Samantha and her kids are still alive, but she's now in danger according to Nick's PlayStation 1 cutscene. She sends her little
That bitch said
monsters to an
PlayStation 1.
arcade with some money, then goes to get her hair cut at a beauty salon. Ooh, and a petty. Damn, Sam, you treating yourself, huh? The salon's various tools and accessories conspire to create a slippery floor and a hairspray bottle bomb, but those end up being red herrings. Although her kids eat shit and the bomb goes off, the ceiling fan in dislodges doesn't fall on Samantha. Instead, she's killed after a line of blunt foreshadowing.
I've got my eye on you two.
When a stone hit by a lawnmower across the street goes straight through her eye. And if you're wondering why Samantha gets killed, but not her husband or kids, I guess maybe they would have escaped the disaster either way, whereas Sam was left behind getting trampled by the crowd before that engine fell on her. News of Samantha's death makes it into the paper, but it doesn't seem to faze the horny hunt.
We just lost a really hot milk.
Hey, does that guy like sex and stuff? I haven't been able to tell. Nick and Lori tell Hunt and Janet about the visions he's been having, as well as the history they've learned about similar past incidents like Flight 180, and how after all of those disasters, the survivors subsequently died.
Well, we survived. So now does that mean we all died?
Yes, that's exactly what that means. We're 4 movies in here. You know this, man. Nick also shares the tried and true theory that another person's intervention will cause death to skip a kill. But this is all too much for Janet, and she leaves all freaked out. As for Hunt, he resigns himself to the possibility that maybe they're right, but he intends to carry on as per usual.
So I'm gonna do what I do best. I'm gonna go get laid.
Wow, Hunt, you're so fucking cool, dude. Nick unlocks another level with a free online flash game, and that inspires him to go back to the racetrack and try to jog his memory of the order in which people died. He thinks back to all the deaths he saw in his premonition, but he can't remember who died after Samantha. Nick and Lori are then discovered by George, who responds to their theories sounding like George friggin' Washington.
Young man, that sounds crazy.
They watch the security cam footage that shows how dying is easy, young man, and Nick sees enough to figure out death's order. Looks like the mechanic is next.
Hey, maybe if we can stop this mechanic from getting killed, we can break the chain. The rest of us will be safe.
Yeah, dude, that'll definitely happen. It works every time. They track down the mechanic, a guy named Andy, and visit him at the garage in which he works, which is a dangerous place indeed. Andy's been having a hard time ever since seeing his wife get squashed by a tire, and turns out George can relate to him, since he recently lost his wife and daughter in a car accident he caused while drunk driving. George continues to develop his character, while the others just kind of nod at him a bunch, not knowing that inside the garage, Death is getting back to work again. When it finally springs its trap, a gas tank is launched, launch that catches Andy in the chest and sends him flying partially through a metal fence. This is another kill where I don't know why it looks so bad, since on set they had a dummy with a pre-cut back that they pumped full of blood.
Man, you never see
and
fences
actually
look like
ran
that though,
through a
bro.
fence. What the hell happened here? Moving down Death's list, Nick says that Hunt and Janet died at the same time in his premonition, so he splits with Lori and George in an effort to track down both of them. Hunt is, predictably, doing the only thing he claims to be good at, even though he taps out after finishing himself and leaves his lady partner unfulfilled. Oh, and look, he's already getting excited to disappoint another girl. But Hunt had better get away from that pool, because Nick is seeing ominous signs and more shitty visions, warning him that water bad, fire's good. Oh, and yeah, check out that not-so-subtle Easter egg referencing Allie Larder's character from parts 1 and 2. Her name was Clear River, not Claire. I was never saying it wrong, she just had a dumb name. Hunt gets a date with a little kid who gives two of the funniest no's I've ever heard in my life.
Give me the gun.
No!
Give me the fucking gun.
No!
After confiscating the gun by force, Hunt discards it in a way that ends up turning on the pool pump, which recently must have gotten turbocharged or some shit, cause look at that thing. That's some overkill. Meanwhile, Janet the personality-less is also putting herself in water's way by getting an automatic car wash, a fact she mentions to Lori on the phone. She loses reception before Lori can warn her about the dangers of agua, but it's already too late. A mechanical failure caused by a wayward car antenna stops Janet's car in its tracks, right in the middle of those fun spinny washer things. Janet's sunroof opens and a big pipe bursts, sending her screaming towards a prestigious death. When Hunt's lucky coin rolls its way into the pool, he dives in after it, only to get caught by the super pool pump pulling at his bum. My bum is on the drain. My bum is on the drain. The pressure keeps building and it's causing lots of pain. So now he and Janet are in simultaneous situations of aquatic danger, with Janet's getting extra sudsy. But lucky for her, Lori and George drive into the car wash and save her from getting her face cleaned off. Their intervention saves her life, and she's rescued from water and pipe alike. But unfortunately for Hunt, Nick's unable to find him when he finally gets to the golf club pool. Hunt is killed when the pool pump reaches maximum pressure and sucks out his insides, which splash up into the skiing well and land on the deck in a bloody mess. This nasty kill required actor Nick Zano to get some underwater training, and the scene took 3 days to shoot. He'd have to stay down there while they got different shots, and in between takes, breathe through instruments like these hoses. Not too hard to act like you're drowning when that's going on.
You gotta get in that headspace of death. Like, I'm dying, but then I'm underwater and I'm tied to the bottom of the pool. And then you start losing your cool. It becomes very real, very fast.
Oh, also, the digital blood in this scene apparently has an excuse. They were shooting at a public pool and couldn't contaminate the water with any fake blood. So they say, at least. Since they successfully intervened to save Janet's life, the survivors figure that death is either done with them completely or it'll skip her and move on to George. Either way, George ain't worried.
I'm at peace with it. And, my family's waiting for me. So I'm ready to go.
And so that night, George decides to end his own life. Nick and Lori come over to check on him and find him hanging from the ceiling. But hey, he's not dead yet. Although turns out, not the lack of trying.
I've been trying to kill myself all day.
Since George has been unable to kill himself, they think that means death really has given up on them entirely. Awesome! Let's pop some 3D champagne corks. Whoa! To life. What do y'all got planned for it?
Lots of traveling, like Paris, maybe some beaches, Saint-Tropez.
What? Aren't you college students? Where's all this globe-trotting money coming from? Sam and Lori may have been premature with their travel plans anyway, since all of a sudden, Nick has another vision that includes some water dripping and a 3D snake. A news report reveals that there was another survivor from the racetrack they didn't know about. That tall cowboy, a guy named Jonathan Groves. He was rescued in the rubble, which is not the same fate we saw him suffer in the premonition.
If I would have asked him to move like I did in the premonition, he would have died. Instead, he survived.
That means Jonathan Groves must be the next one on Death's list, which is why Nick and George rush to the hospital where he's being taken care of. Also residing in the very same hospital is a racist old man.
You know how many of your kind got killed in Korea?
So fun watching assholes all the time. The old dude's tub starts to overfill with water after the nurses leave him alone. And it looks like this room must be right above the cowboys, because now there's a waterfall coming down on his head. Jonathan Groves actually manages to get out of his bed and crawl across the room, but by the time Nick and George find him, it's too late. The tub falls through the floor and crushes him. I'm not entirely sure if it makes sense for the tub to be there when the leaks began right over Jonathan's bed all the way on the other side of the room.
Right,
but my
though.
editor Zoran says it makes sense for some reason, so I don't feel comfortable berating it as stupid. Maybe I'm just the stupid one. Who knows? Lori and Janet, the two most useless and underwritten characters in this whole damn series, are at the mall to see a movie, so that's where Nick and George head next, while George tells Nick a bit about his late wife.
It's like deja vu. My wife said that deja vu is like God.
Whoa, okay, we're doing that killing act. Damn. I mean, I knew the dude had to die, but now we're down to exactly 0 interesting characters. Bummer. While Lori and Janet make their way to the theater, we see a lot of construction going on outside and within the mall, giving us lots of dangerous details that these characters should be looking out for. You know, maybe they could stay safe if their parents had taught them to fear and respect the escalator. But I guess they didn't, since Lori's shoelace gets caught. Thankfully, it snaps off before a bloodbath can ensue, leaving the girls safe for now. Nick arrives at the mall and has another vision that shows the girls being killed when their theater blows up into a fireball. Sure enough, death's already gusting winds about and soaking sawdust and flammable chemicals in a room under construction that's right behind the screen in Lori and Janet's theater. They're there to see the latest shitty 3D movie, Love Lays Dying. But Nick has a hard time finding which theater they're in, since apparently this thing's having an endgame-sized opening. He eventually manages to track them down, and he gets Lori to leave with him before the fire that's broken out backstage can spread to some barrels that are spontaneously combustible. I'm sorry, what? You mean they're combustible, right? Because spontaneously combustible would mean they're apt to blow up at literally any time. You really think there would be spontaneously combustible barrels lying around a construction site movie? Because that's just fucking stupid. Anyway, Janet refuses to budge, so when that barrel spontaneously combusts, she's killed alongside all the other theater patrons, who are not only blown up, but also stabbed and stuff. We get some variety. Props to the stunt performers being flung around on tables, and props to the crew who actually blew up a theater facade for real. Movie making is fun. The fire continues to spread and causes 1, 2, 3 more big explosions in the mall. And 4 more big explosions in the mall. The last one tears apart the escalator, which finally gives us the bloodbath that was promised. When Lori is pulled into its exposed gears, it's squeezed like a bottle of toothpaste. Great use of some soft fake legs made by makeup artist Mike McCarty of K&B. It's an awesome and graphic kill. Oh shit, kills? Have I been forgetting to count kills this whole time? I have, probably because those all took place inside a secret eyeball mall. Whoa!
My wife said that deja vu is like God's will.
Whoops, yeah, that was all another premonition. But unfortunately, Nick's unable to save George from his ambulance death the second time around. It happens off-screen in reality here, but we did see it take place during the vision. So when it comes to the awards, I'm gonna have to factor that in. Nick races off to the mall in order to stop the deadly explosion, and he's able to find the construction site fire before it's reached critical spontaneous combustion levels. Although he puts out the initial fire, Death finds a way and ends up shooting off a nail gun, which pins Nick to the wall and starts a stream of spontaneously flammable liquid that's headed straight towards a second fire. But Nick thinks fast and uses the world's longest tiki torch to set off the fire sprinklers in the room, which puts out the fire before the barrels can get hot enough to spontaneously explode. The 3D movie watchers in that theater don't even know how good they have it. And I'll tell you what, it's a lot better than us 3D movie watchers have it, because we're stuck with this piece of shit. 2 weeks later, the 3 survivors meet at their favorite coffee shop where they're laughing and having a good time. Hell, Nick's even known as a local hero.
You saved a lot of lives, man.
Thanks, random guy. But this happy ending doesn't stay happy for long, since Nick starts getting a bad feeling about everything he sees, and not just the shitty acting.
What do you think, babe? Hey, Space Cadet, you want to come back down to Earth?
The movie ends with another disaster that kills all 3 of them. But since it cuts to the end credits, they're shown in that cool X-ray style that was used in the opening credits. Not a bad way to do some stinger kills like that. Although, honestly, I'm just happy this thing is over. How many cartoonish kills were flung into our faces here? Let's find out and get to the numbers. Heads or tails? Go. 61 people died in the Final Destination, and as per usual with this series, most of them, 51 in fact, were of indeterminable gender. The others were 4 women and 6 men, giving us this mostly gray pie chart. And with a runtime of only 82 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 1.34 minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to Hunt. He's one of my least favorite characters of all time, but man did he die well. This death is unique and fantastically gory, of course, but it also gets points for the psychological horror going on here. He's surrounded by other people in the pool who he can't contact and who don't know he's in trouble. That's some scary shit, man. Dull machete for lamest kill will go to Jonathan Groves, crushed by a bathtub that maybe shouldn't have been there logically. And in the Final Destination series, I'm giving out the Primo Premonition Award for the coolest kills seen only in a vision. This time it'll go to Laurie's death during the second premonition when she was caught in the escalator gears and turned into human Go-Gurt. This was also the film's late director David Ellis's favorite kill.
It's gross.
Yes, it is, David. Yes, it is. And that's it. The Final Destination came out in 2009 in glorious 3D, and is definitely one of my least favorite films I've covered on the Kill Count. Thankfully, the 5th film is actually pretty good. I'll show you next week. Until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this week's Kill Count. I'd like to thank some patrons like Nicholas Beauchamp, Alex Green, Danielle Colwell, Aiden Galloway, Taylor, and Nayeli. Hopefully my voice wasn't too grating during this. It actually hurt me a lot to film this, but I had to get it done. Schedules are a thing. Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and it's time to wrap up another franchise with the actual Final Destination, Part 5, which came out in 2011. Like the previous entry, Final Destination 5 was filmed and released in 3D, but unlike the previous entry, Part 5 is not a heaping pile of shit. To me, Part 5 is a huge step up over the previous 2 films, mostly because of 2 things: characters and tone. Although this entry still has a handful of shitbags running around, including the requisite creeper, most everyone feels like a real, believable person, and the one who isn't, the cartoonish pervert, is at least played by a talented character actor and properly portrayed as a sleazebag. Plus, the leads are among the best in the franchise, including Miles Fisher, giving perhaps the greatest performance out of all of these movies, which shouldn't be a surprise because Miles Fisher is fucking dope. If you're unfamiliar with this dude, who looks like the love child of Tom Cruise and Christian Bale, you should probably make yourself familiar pronto. Not only did he once sell weed to the junior employees of Sterling Cooper,
I'm Peggy Olson, and I want to smoke some marijuana.
he's also a talented musician, and in fact he made a music video for his song New Romance, featuring the cast of this movie in a gory Saved by the Bell parody. It's a hilarious video and kick-ass song, so you should probably check it out. And when you're done there, go watch his other music video that parodies American Psycho for his cover of This Must Be the Place by Talking Heads. That song is actually me and Chelsea's song, and with American Psycho being one of her favorite horror movies, that video was basically tailor-made for us. Okay, I'll stop gushing about Miles Fisher for now. The tone of this movie is also an improvement for the series, since it manages to balance the dark suspense of the original film with some lighthearted humor, while never veering too hard into the cynical snark so prevalent in Part 4. This change in tone and quality may stem from the new talent behind the camera here. Instead of having a repeat writer or director, all new dudes were brought in for Part 5, namely director Stephen Quayle and writer Eric Heiserer, whose very odd screenplay history includes the dreadful Nightmare on Elm Street remake and the 2011 Thing prequel, which, you know, I wasn't the biggest fan of, but also the Oscar-nominated Arrival and then the mediocre Bird Box. It's kind of hard for me to understand how the same guy wrote all of those very different movies, but hey, he did give us Arrival and Final 5, so keep doing your thing, dude. Finally, I've got some good news for the gorehounds among you. Thanks to another sponsorship by NordVPN, you'll be able to watch the explicit version of this video even if you're not a patron. Sometimes the fear of hackers getting into your personal information can be just as scary as the fear of death itself. Thankfully, with NordVPN, you can encrypt your online activity with a single click of a button and protect yourself with military-grade encryption. It's available for Windows, Mac, iOS, Android. The movie begins with a title card, and looks like it's getting tested by Mythbusters. Much like the last movie, films, these opening credits are real friggin' cool, and similarly evoke all the deaths we've seen throughout this series. Honestly, this makes me wish the franchise had kept going, if only for us to get a Bond-esque focus on making cooler and cooler credit sequences each time. It's the morning of a team-building retreat for paper company Prasad. We say Presage. Our heroic herald this time through is Sam Watton, a lowly salesman who's often joshed by his middle management friend, Peter Friedkin.
I'm saying that to you as your friend because, as your boss, I'm ready to fire your ass.
But like I always say, better to get joshed by your buds than dumped by your girlfriend. And unfortunately for Sam, his girlfriend Molly is currently dropping his ass.
It's not working out, Sam.
Let's go to a gym. Gosh. Olivia Castle is another sales team employee for Prasagi, and she lives for casual Fridays, hates wearing her glasses, and is always down to give an impromptu biology lesson.
They're called tits.
Her bio student there is intern Candace Cooper, who's on tonguey terms with Peter, and is also kind of a mean girl.
Have you slept with the biggest in town yet?
Like I said, some of these characters still kinda suck, but none of them suck as much as this film's piggish perv, tech support employee Isaac Palmer, played by PJ Byrne, who would go on to be in Wolf of Wall Street and Big Little Lies. The captain of this company's paper boat is Dennis Latman, the sales division manager, who treats his staff like pledges.
What's my name? Dennis. Look away.
He's played by the champ himself, David Keckner, last seen on the kill/capture count, yes, it's the same thing, in Krampus. Whammy! At his command, Sam runs off to collect the final employee to board the bus, Nathan Sears, played by Arlen Escarpeta, last seen on the kill count, as one of the very few sympathetic characters in the Friday the 13th reboot. Nathan was recently put in charge of some older blue-collar workers in the company's paper factory, which union rep Roy is mighty pissed about.
I got at least 15 years on you here. You got, what, 4 years in some classroom upstate?
I won't bet this paper company has a warehouse employee named Roy. That's gotta be intentional, right? Sam and Nathan board the bus, and this company retreat is off. The employees watch a preview of their coming attractions and see a reminder of previous attractions before arriving at the North Bay Bridge, which in real life was played by the Lionsgate Bridge in Vancouver, the namesake of the film company Lionsgate, which was founded in the city. The first 3 Final Destinations were all filmed in Vancouver, while the 3D fourth one was filmed mostly in New Orleans. This 5th movie returns production to the V. The bridge is basically having open heart surgery while the bus drives across it, so you'd better start paying attention to all these little specific things, Sam. You're about to get quizzed on them real soon. In fact, death is already out there, blowing up a gale, and between those gusts of death and all this heavy machinated construction, the bridge begins to crack and crumble. By the time the Pressaga employees flee their bus,
This
the
is
bridge
so
is
stupid.
completely falling apart. Surely
That shit's so stupid.
Anthony Kiedis underneath. The
This some
first
Fast and Furious stupid shit.
whose impalement on a sloop results in some 3D gore. Well,
Shit.
yeah, I know that boat's a sloop. I played Sid Meier's Pirates. As the main characters run towards safety, Skeezy Isaac comes out of his bathroom office to find himself in a bus that's become an elevator. Ground floor, going down.
Ooh.
Molly manages to get to safety by minding the gap across this steel beam. But since Olivia Velmed it up earlier, she's gonna have a more difficult time getting across. Yeah, bye! Big splash! Oh wait, she's okay. Oh wait, no she's not. She's about to get hit by this boat of car. Nathan gets got by an errant cable, and Dennis is burned alive by a bunch of hot tar before falling to his
I remember
death.
that
But
shit.
Peter manages to Tom Cruise himself to safety across the gap, which is actually pretty funny since Miles Fisher played Tom Cruise in one of those crappy 2000s parody films, superhero movie.
Dragonfly can't fly!
This just in, Tom Cruise is dead.
Sam gets across the fissure as well, right before the rest of the bridge crumbles down in an awesomely done long take until all of the debris is safely in the water below. The bridge disaster is one of the best looking of the series, I think, accomplishing a proper sense of grandeur with some solid CG for the time. They shot it in parts on both the actual bridge and in a studio using practical bridge pieces and green screen backgrounds, all under the supervision of returning stunt coordinator J.J. Maccaro, who had worked on Final Destination 3. Highlights of the shooting process include Arlen Escarpeta getting yoinked by a cable, which was combined with a shot of a dummy double getting totally wrecked, and David Keckner getting to wear a prosthetic burn head that took a few hours in makeup to apply. When it comes time for the main characters to die, we start off with some rebar rods that impale Peter all over his body. I don't know what his eye is doing there, but apparently they made a practical prosthetic for Miles Fisher to wear, so that's kind of fun. Peter falls and gets a bonus splat point on his way down to the water, which evokes an earlier shot of a plastic barrel that had the same trip down. Then finally, as Molly watches, Sam gets sliced in half by some sheet metal falling.
What the
Whoa!
fuck?
Secret eyeball break! Cue the symbols that alert Sam to his situation, and thankfully, cue the immediate understanding.
We all gotta get off.
Sam convinces Molly to leave with him, and then, the other characters with names all get off the bus in turn. And so they're able to get to safety as the bridge crumbles apart in front of them, fulfilling Sam's premonition. We saw a lot of nameless randos die during Sam's vision, but a news report later once again makes my life easy by headlining that there were 86 victims in the North Bay Bridge collapse. Thanks to Sam Lawton, however, 8 of these Presage employees are not among those 86.
How did you know?
Is this a Final Destination film, motherfucker? Courtney B. Vance as a velvety-voiced FBI agent named Block.
I'm just trying to get all the pieces of the puzzle together before I start moving them around, making them fit.
Yeah, we're even back to FBI stuff, just like we had in the first one.
I'm Agent Wee, and this is Agent Shrek.
Though, sadly, no cartoon ogres are anywhere to be found. Block interviews the survivors and asks them about Sam until his work is cut short by a report that reveals the true reason behind the catastrophe.
We're chalking up to high winds and structural damage from the construction.
High winds?
Dude, you have no idea. At a memorial service, the survivors ask Sam how he knew the bridge would collapse, but he can't answer them because he doesn't know. You know who might be able to help all y'all sad sacks out, though? William the Bloodthirsty Bloodworm. He's worth his weight in blood. Yeah, Tony Todd is finally back, sounding just as goddamn cool as ever.
You all, just be careful now.
I will, Mr. Todd, just for you. Oh, we're done talking now? Okay, that's cool. Thanks. In a peculiar plot addition, Sam also works part-time at a restaurant. And he's so into cooking, actually, that he's been offered an apprenticeship in Paris. He's reluctant to take it, though, because he still wants to be around Molly, which is, in fact, why she broke up with him. So he would take that job and go to Paris. Wow, a scene with character development and actual motivations. Neat. Now let's get one of those famous fun kill scenes. I'm sure most of you already know what's coming, and knew as soon as you laid eyes on a bunch of gymnastic equipment. But for those of you who don't, buckle up. We've got a real banger of a kill coming up right here. Candace is beginning her final high school gymnastics practice when death just ups and blows its way into the gym. There's a suspenseful beam scene where Candace plays the knife game, only with her feet instead of her hands, and a screw instead of a knife, but it's not until she goes to the bars, which squeak with every flip, that things get real bad for real. After another gymnast lands on that screw, Death huffs and puffs and blows a bunch of chalk into Candace's face, resulting in this. Yeah! It's one of the simplest but most sudden and violent kills in the whole series. Yeah, maybe she looks a little cartoony, flipping around in the air like a Jedi in a prequel movie, but damn if the result's not horrific. And the gruesome aftermath was accomplished by having Candace's actor Ellen Rowe don some green screen pants, while her stunt double wore a green screen top and pulled her legs back like that. Shots were combined, we got this. Great. Peter is left completely bereft by Candace's death, and as Sam comforts him, he sees Bloodworth standing from afar. If I were you, Sam, I'd go talk. Oh shit, he's gone. Missed your chance again, dude. Prisa G is having a hard time at this point, what with 2/3 of their sales department having been killed, and the remaining survivors have taken to drinking through the workday. Peter's so depressed, though, that not even the sense-dulling powers of alcohol can prevent him from lashing out in anger at the wall, and after apologizing to the others,
I'm sorry.
he leaves to go return some videotapes. Although a lot of Presage's employees are dead, unfortunately, the worst of them is still alive. Isaac descends further into revulsion by stealing from the desks of the dead, and he thinks he's hit a jackpot when he finds a still-valid coupon for some fancy spa service. He strolls into the massage parlor, repping that Kill Bill-ish, and hits on the receptionist with all the grace of a jackhammer.
Ooh. Slow down there a little bit. Yeah, you have a lovely little tantric.
I always gotta have one of these fucking movies, huh? But the receptionist won't be administering his massage. Instead, predictably, it's going to be given by an older woman working there, and we get an obvious and tired comedy routine as she cracks his body to pieces and pretends not to speak English. After they move on to Cenobite therapy, she leaves him to rest for a while.
Sleep.
Oh, he will, lady. He'll sleep long and hard. Some ash causes a fire to break out, and then a loose bolt or whatever knocks Isaac right onto his pants. Ouch! Yeah, dude, you're a goddamn mess. This effect was done using a combination of stick-on needles to put on PJ Burns' real body and a fake torso duplicate with needles he could actually pull out. Great work, effects team. Although the spurting fire doesn't quite manage to reach him, Isaac is finally killed when a Buddha statue falls and crushes his head to smithereens. I bet that dude comes back as a tapeworm or something. Sam and Molly rekindle their relationship and make plans for both of them to go to Paris when Peter shows up and tells them about Isaac's death. They go to the spa where they see Bloodworth hanging out again. And thankfully, the third time's a charm, and we actually get a bit of a scene with Tony Todd. Good thing it wasn't Candyman rules, or else it would have taken 5 times for something to happen. Bloodworth is elected to help Dennis, even though this isn't his first time at the death rodeo.
It's just I've seen this before. A lucky few survive the disaster, and then one by one, death comes for them all.
You know what? It took 5 movies, but Bloodworth has finally managed to give a succinct and understandable summary of this franchise's premise.
Short it down.
And with that framing of the issue, he also offers a way out. Take another person's life and make death whole again.
We kill someone, we get their life. Is that what you're telling me?
That's what I'm saying. Bye, y'all. As the kids process having to continue without any more Tony Todd in this movie, Sam remembers that in his premonition, Molly never died. She successfully made it to safety across that bridge gap, so it turns out she doesn't have a death bounty on her head. Great news for Molly, but Peter takes it personally and thinks that Sam was being a little two-faced by only saving her.
Well, apparently he deserves to live more Candace.
As for Nathan, he doesn't exactly believe in Bloodworth's tales, but he still goes with Sam and Molly to find and warn Olivia. Olivia is at an appointment where she's finally getting the LASIK she's always wanted. That's not to say she's not nervous about the procedure, though, which is entirely understandable, since, yeah, it shoots lasers into your eyeballs. But in real life, don't be scared, man. To science. I can't wait to get it done one day. As long as it's not in a Final Destination movie, of course, where not even this teddy bear's eyes are safe when it comes to the procedure. The doctor leaves Olivia briefly to go get a missing file, which I don't think a real doctor would do in this situation. And in his absence, we get an accident that begins with Death's second favorite weapon, water, which you can always count on to mess with literally anything electronic. Olivia's head is so restrained that she can't reach the machine's controller, and instead knocks it to the ground where it activates the frickin' laser beam. Olivia's right eye is given the Alderon treatment, but she manages to save her left one by sacrificing her hand. When Sam and Molly arrive to help her out, she ends up tripping over that Teddy's loose eyeball and tumbling through the high-story window. She dies after hitting a car windshield, which somehow manages to pop her own eye out in an imitation of the bear's. Agent Block, who's still kind of lurking around this movie, asks Sam and Molly to clue him in about what's going on, but they're unable to explain, really, anything. So, I guess we can just put Block's side plot back on the back burner. In the meantime, Sam and Molly
It can't
have
be
the
me.
requisite scene
Ain't
where
no
they
way.
realize the whole death works in a certain order thing, and Sam realizes that Nathan would be the next one to go. Nathan is currently having another dispute with that Roy dude over the guy's total disrespect towards him. Roy's pissed about getting his hours cut, and while he yells at Nathan, things start to get dangerous. Nathan tries to push Roy out of the way, but instead accidentally pushes him right into the danger zone. Angry boy Roy falls to his death, ending up with a hook through his chin. And then his head, too. Nice. Peter goes to Dennis and tells him what they all learned from Bloodworth, and he comes pretty damn close to turning this whole thing into a Belko experiment.
It's kill or be killed.
But instead of killing or being killed, Dennis just calls Agent Block and tells him about Peter's temper tantrum. Peter only grows more unstable after he goes to Roy's accident scene and accuses Nathan of killing the Union rep to save his own life.
So if the theory works, then you traded spots.
This must be the case, because Death's already moving on to Dennis, who arrives just in time to get a flying wrench to the dome, in what at first seems like the least graphic kill since the original movie, until, yep, there's the money shot. Gotta love that gore. Despite Death looming close to him, Sam still goes to work at the restaurant, which of course kind of has a 180 thing. Yeah! There are a lot of potential occupational hazards every which way Sam looks, but you know how Death works by now. These kills are never going to be quick and obvious. Instead, Death lets Sam and Molly settle into a nice romantic dinner for two that blows through the restaurant's entire candle budget. They celebrate his Parisian apprenticeship, but get interrupted by Peter knocking at the door, looking real dark and scary, like he's ready to straight murder them. Because that's exactly what he's here to do, right after a bit of liquid courage. See, he couldn't bring himself to kill anyone random on the street, no pedestrians on a corner or vagrants in an alley, but he still wants to trade someone's life for his own. And who better than Molly, who he doesn't think deserves to have lived over Candace. His attempt on her life is thwarted by Sam with a table, and Peter's gunshots are heard by Agent Block down the block, who calls them in and heads towards the restaurant. Molly hides in the kitchen while Peter knocks Sam out cold, then turns on all the gas lines he can find to prime this place for a 3D explosion. Block shows up and tries to help Molly out, but he's shot from behind by Peter and succumbs quickly to the multiple bullets in his back. Cuba Gooding Jr. OJ better find himself a new head lawyer, stat. Having attacked and killed the Block, Peter has removed himself from Death's list. But since he doesn't want to spend his new life behind bars, he goes to get rid of the only eyewitness to his crime. Somehow, Sam flies out of nowhere to slow Peter down, and then they get into an all-out kitchen fight! After a bit of their scullery scuffling, Molly gets in on the action too, and when Peter goes to kill her, he's stopped by Sam with a skewer through the back, kind of evoking his impalement from the rebar pipes in the premonition.
He definitely
Anyone
is
want
busy
some
got this.
rotisserie Fisher?
That's the
After
main
a
thing I'm
very
thinking
weird
right now,
physical
because
feat
it's not
that makes
in
me
the
laugh
spot
every time.
that I
Sam
had
and
it.
Molly embrace, happy that they
It's
beat
not.
death and are no longer on its list. 2 weeks
I
later,
even had it
they're boarding a plane, finally
right
ready
behind
to
the
move to
TV.
Paris, so Sam
Right
starts
there.
an apprenticeship. But wait a minute, Paris? What's that airline's name? Holy, oh no! Yeah, dude, turns out Sam and Molly are on Flight 180. And I'm kind of confused
guess
about
what?
that
It's
shot we
right
just saw.
here.
Because originally, I assumed it was unused
I was about
footage
to
from
say,
the first
bro,
movie.
what the
But while
fuck
watching
is
the
going on?
behind-the-scenes stuff, I saw them say this.
They brought back some of the actors from the original series. They lit it in the same way. I mean, they're recreating that whole plane sequence, but just extending it.
I can't tell if that's a joke or what, because I don't think all these actors would look exactly the same like this 11 years later. Plus, they have the same extras sitting in the same seats, and in the foreground of this shot with Sam and Molly, I do not think that's Amanda Detmer or Devin Sawa. So, I'm gonna have to call bullshit on this one, Chief. Anyway, with Alex Browning and his classmates getting removed, you know this plane's about to take off. Which, yes, means that Final Destination 5 is a surprise prequel. A pretty awesome twist that I sadly had spoiled long before I ever saw this movie. Although, first time through, Chelsea caught it as soon as Isaac found that spot coupons. The ending, with the main characters failing to escape death, is a frequent motif in this series. But before, it was always played for laughs. This time through, it feels horrific as Sam and Molly realize that they're screwed after takeoff.
My kid had a panic attack and wanted off the plane. Said he had some kind of vision.
You actually feel sorry for Sam and Molly here, which may be more uncomfortable than laughing at shitty empty characters die, but I kinda like having that discomfort. That's emotion, man. Flight 180 breaks apart, just as we saw in the original film. And since I already counted the 187 deaths in the kill count for that movie, I'm not gonna double count them either. They've already been accounted for in this kill count series, you know? All that's changed is we now know 2 more of their names. Molly, who gets sucked out of the plane and cut in half by the wing, and Sam, who stays inside the cabin long enough to die from a fire, just like Alex Browning did in the OG Premonition. As the plane rains down fiery remnants, Nathan is at a bar honoring the man he accidentally killed. Oh, it looks like he blueprinted a certain racetrack there, huh? Another co-worker tells Nathan that Roy's autopsy revealed he was about to die from an enlarged blood vessel.
They said he'd be dead any day now.
Which apparently means that Roy's life wasn't up for trade, explaining why Nathan is killed by the bar collapsing under the plane wreckage, a kill that sends his severed arm flying towards the camera. Wow. And no, I won't count other people in the bar, because we don't see any of them definitively die. Eat it, pedants! How many people did Death take down, now that it's had more practice in 3D? Let's find out and get to the numbers. I'm gonna be very careful, not mess with anything, so that I don't get killed. Alright? Good. Ah! Oh god! Oh, where's it coming from? Oh god! 94 new people died in Final Destination 5, and aside from the 86 bridge victims, the dead included 6 men and only 2 women, an inequality washed out by that sea of gray. With a runtime of 92 minutes, that left us with a kill on average just under every minute. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Candace, hands and every other body part down. Of course it deserves the gold medal. Where else are you gonna see shit like this? Damn, I love it. Almost ready for lamest kill. We'll go to Agent Block, pretty obviously. A gun kill? Do you even remember who you are, Final Destination? And the primo premonition, coolest kills seen only in a vision, may be a surprise winner, because I'm going to give it to Dennis. I think his skin being melted by a hot tar or asphalt or whatever has the best looking effects. Much better than Peter and his sloth eye there, and also better than Sam, who gets a little Scorpion King-y falling towards the camera. And that's it. Final Destination 5 came out in 2011 and is the latest film in the franchise to date. The most recent news about the series is that it's getting a reboot by Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan, who took over writing the Saw movies from Lee Winnell and did parts 4, 5, 6, and my favorite, 3D. Hasn't been any news since January though, so who knows? Next week kicks off Reanimator, one of my favorites. But until then, I'm James H. This has been The Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this Kill Count. Big thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring this video so I can release the explicit version for free. Also big thanks to patrons who support me like Gabe Gratchik, Mark Dehan, Bryson Whittington, James May, Devin Crowell, and Nathan Belsman. We're done with another franchise. What'd you think? I think these were some of my most in-depth episodes yet. Thanks everyone. Be good people. Welcome to The Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Ma, released in 2019. Ma stars the Oscar-winning Octavia Spencer, who's dope as all hell, and who was previously on The Kill Count in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, where she got murdered pretty ruthlessly. Despite her awards and long list of credits, though, Ma is the first time Spencer had a starring role, which is part of the reason co-writer and director Tate Taylor made it in the first place.
I got a call from Tate Taylor, and he says, I have a horror film for you. And I say, do I die within the first 15 minutes? Because black people usually die within the first 15 minutes. And he said, not only do you not die, you do the killing. So I was interested just with that.
Taylor and Spencer are longtime friends, having lived together for 7 years when they were first trying to make it in the film industry. That's why you'll find Spencer in most of Taylor's other works.
One more bowl before I get off here.
Spencer plays Sue Ann Ellington, a troubled woman whose playful, friendly demeanor belies the vindictive rage simmering underneath. Ma got mixed reviews when it came out, and it took me a while to see it. So by the time I did, my expectations were low. Maybe that's why I enjoyed it more than I expected to. Yeah, it's a little too long, and the male teen characters are walking, talking nothing boys, but other than them, this movie's got a ballin'-ass cast, even in some of the minorest roles. I mean, with Allison Janney, Juliette Lewis, and Missy Pyle running around, it's gonna be hard for me to have a bad time. I also think the trailer did the film a disservice, making it seem more like a zany, fast-paced slasher than the reflective revenge tale that it is. I remember being worried that it revealed most of the big story beats, and it did. But the scenes I ended up enjoying the most were in between the big moments, the ones with the talented cast portraying realistic people, and all the fun bits of low-key comedy. Did the trailers reveal how many people died in the movie? Better not have, because that's my job, motherfucker. So let's get to that. The movie begins with a move. Mother Erica, daughter Maggie, and good boy Louie are leaving San Francisco and returning to Erica's hometown in suburban Ohio, where symbolic road signs stand aplenty. Erica is played by the always interesting Juliette Lewis, while Maggie is played by Diana Silver, a very natural newcomer who was that bully-turned-lover in Booksmart. Both of them are trepidatious in their new/old surroundings, although they do manage to meet some friendly faces. Maggie introduces herself to Jeannie, a girl in a wheelchair at her school, and Erica finds herself with a wonderful co-worker named Stu.
How's your first day on the floor going? Is it everything you ever dreamed of and so much more?
Hey, that guy played the guy who played the guy in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. A bubbly, popular girl named Haley invites Maggie to a party that night and picks her up that evening in a totally inconspicuous white van. Haley introduces the new girl to the dude characters in this movie, Darrell, Andy, and Haley's boyfriend Chaz. Unfortunately, none of them are interested. They're all written flatter than tap water. The other kids tell Maggie that their party's been canceled, so the new plan is to drive around and get drunk in the van. Sounds like something you'd do if you were on fall break. To acquire the booze for their cruise, they try to hey mister various strangers outside a liquor store. But as any desperate high schooler knows, that method doesn't have a high success rate. Maggie, hoping to fit in, steps up to the plate and tries her luck with a woman named Sue Ann. She initially turns Maggie down, but after a good look at her friends, and more pointedly, the van that they're driving, She changes her tune and takes their shopping list, as long as Andy promises not to drink and drive. She gives them their black market booze with a side of friendly spunk.
This never happened, okay?
Well, thanks again for doing this, man.
For doing what, darling?
Well, that's not the end of it for Sue-Ann, because as the kids head to a distant rock quarry to get drunk, she looks them up on Facebook. What kind of kid has their dad's company logo on their Facebook? Actually, what kind of kid has a Facebook? Sue-Ann calls the number of the company she saw in the van hood, which interrupts a smokestack-side stack smoking for Andy's dad, Ben Hawkins, the kind of guy who eats 5 dozen eggs every morning. Sue-Ann snitches on the kids to Ben, reveling in the same snark she showed the kids at the store.
Who am I speaking to?
A little birdie.
Sue-Ann, why isn't this dog prepped?
Careful, Sue-Ann. You don't want to get in trouble with Alice and Janney.
Stay off your damn phone.
She's scared. Ben makes it.
She's scared.
A little while later, while the kids are all boozing and schmoozing, a cop named Officer Granger shows up and sternly questions them.
You see anybody out here, young lady?
Sir, we don't
Wrong, young lady.
Officer Granger, who's played by writer-director Tate Taylor, ends up letting the kids go with a warning. But Maggie still gets in trouble when she comes home later that night. Thankfully, since she and Erica are realistic characters, their argument sounds sincere instead of boilerplate. Again, acting scenes like this are what makes Ma work for me. The next evening, the kids go for round 2 of getting drunk off some Ma juice. But this time, Sue-Ann doesn't want to take her payment in the parking lot, and instead tells them to follow her down the road.
I got eyes on me. I won't lose my job.
Yeah, well, maybe start by not pissing off your boss every day, Sue-Ann, like you just did again earlier.
Sue-Ann, answer the fucking Rouge veterinary.
She leads them all the way back to her house, where she invites them to drink in her basement, saying it would make her feel better knowing they're safe and not out there booze cruising around. The only rule they have to follow is that they're not allowed to go upstairs. It's such a sweet arrangement for these fun-seeking kids that Darrell gets real cozy real fast.
You got any pizza rolls, Ma?
Ma? Boy, you are too much.
Yeah, but, like, you got those pizza rolls? What I like about the movie, up until now, is that Ma acts in a pretty chill manner towards the kids. Sure, it's a little weird that this stranger's letting them drink in her basement, but I can see how her behavior could believably earn their trust. That's why I don't like how after Chad gets a tad too douchey with her, Ma pulls a freaking gun on him. Feels like she went from 0 to 100. And even worse, she disgustingly forces him to strip naked in front of her and all his friends. The most unbelievable part, though, is that when she plays that sex crime off as just a prank bro,
You are under arrest for being so dang cute. Put that thing away.
the other kids join her in laughing about it. Yeah, no, I'd be getting the fuck out of there.
Ma, you fucking got me.
That wasn't a shoulder punch from the circle. Clearly not right. But I guess some kids will sacrifice safety to get drunk. So they stay with Sue-Ann late into the night before stumbling out
Something with
to
the
head
count
home.
right in the middle of my hairline. I'm gonna show y'all what to do to
Sue-Ann
fix it.
thinks back
Usually I
to
just
her
cut
own
my
time
hair
at
down
high
to a
school when a young
1.5.
Ben
I
Hawkins
usually cut it down to a 2 or 2.5, but with the 1.5 my cowlick in the front is very visible.
Her backstory is given in fragments throughout the film, and honestly, it's pretty traumatizing. So heads up. Back in the present, Sue-Ann goes to the casino where Erica works, having run into her earlier when she brought Louie into the vets. She watches as Erica has an awkward exchange with a snide ex-classmate.
Mercedes, hi.
What are you doing here? Did you like go to California or something? And like you're gonna like make it?
This is Mercedes, she of the Beatrice Interruptus, and she's played by Missy Pyle, who's in a lot of things and is always awesome. But of special note is the fact that she was in a country rock duo called Smith and Pyle alongside Shawnee Smith, aka Amanda Young from the Saw series. Mercedes is there with Ben Hawkins in a BAC that's way too high, so she's escorted out while mildly harassing Erica. Sue-Ann watches it all with some sympathy, since, as we'll see, she's also been a victim of Mercedes' mean tendencies. The next day, the kids get out of school to find a free box of booze by their van. Looks like they got a delivery from Postmom. The party at her place that night is a much bigger affair than their previous shindig, with the basement transformed just as much as Sue-Ann's outfit.
Sue-Ann, around here you call me Ma.
Sorry, transformed just as much as Ma's outfit. Okay, please let me go now, Ma. Again, as weird as this situation may seem to some people, I get how excited these kids would be to have an adult helping them get their drink on. That's why all of them encourage Mom's inappropriate social behavior and even join her as she dances to lip sync. Haha, great moves, y'all. Except you guys. Scotty too hotty, you ain't. Rubbing teenage faces like this sure does take Ma back. Back to when she was at that rock quarry at the annual 80s Windbreaker party. It was there that young Ben Hawkins and young Mercedes began laying the seeds to pull a prank on young Ma, though young Erica and her scrunchies did not seem to approve. You can think back to your childhood all you want, Ma, but as an adult, it is not okay to be hitting on these minors.
You did that body good.
And don't talk about milk, Ma. It's weird. The kids invite Sue Ann to drink with them, and although she tells them that she doesn't imbibe due to prior problems, stupid kids will be stupid kids. And with some chance of peer pressure, they get her to take the shot. A bang from upstairs quiets them down real fast, but Ma just blames it on an old ice machine. As Sue Ann heads upstairs and retrieves a needle from her fridge, Haley's bladder reaches capacity. With the downstairs bathroom occupado, she and Maggie decide to break Ma's cardinal rule and go upstairs to find another toilet. Damn, Haley, don't go chasing other water stalls. Just stick to the basement and the rooms that you're used to. While Haley's peeing, Maggie
bitch. What?
Shout at and bang around Maggie. That physical harassment gets Maggie to finally leave the house of this obviously unwell woman. It's about damn time, you dumb kids. Ma texts Maggie profusely the next morning, apologizing, and the kids find her waiting for them after school. But they reject her offer of another night of partying since it's lost its novelty by now.
Damn, Ma, don't you got a job?
These kids can't spend all their time with you, Sue Ann, especially not with Maggie and Andy officially dating now. It's so official, in fact, that Maggie even tells her mom about it in another good mother-daughter scene.
Yeah, okay, I think it's super cool.
Aw, that's nice. When the weekend comes, Ma's able to get the kitty crew back into her basement thanks to a chick named Stephanie who wants to have her birthday party there.
It's my birthday!
Maggie's still not fully back aboard the Ma train, but she is getting smooches from her new boyfriend, so whatever, you know? Bottoms up! Sue Ann convinces Maggie to take her shot too, as the men without hats start up their sins. Taking that Ma shot was a total mistake, and Maggie loses consciousness as Ivan Durashuk teaches us how to spell the word safety. She wakes up back home, next to Louie, and finds her earrings missing, so she tells Andy that she's done hanging out at Ma's, and she doesn't want him going there either. Smart choice, Mags. You don't want to end up taking too many Valium shots, you know? Andy goes to Maggie's that night for a cheesesteak dinner and to meet her mom. Erica says that she went to high school with Andy's dad, Ben, as well as Ben's girlfriend, Mercedes.
How do we like her? Let's just say I'm more of a Porsche kind of guy. Yeah, she's a bitch. Alright, sorry.
With Sue Ann continuing to text them all relentlessly, Haley sends out a group video telling everyone to block and cut ties with Ma. Sue Ann sees the video and gets publicly pissed about it.
You're making your business my business. Not today, old lady. Not today. You bitch.
Hilarious. Ma gets a new number so she can send the teenagers increasingly alarming videos, culminating in one that shows her crying and asking them to meet her, saying it's an emergency. They reluctantly go to the rock quarry, where Sue Ann apologizes for her actions, saying she's been acting weird due to side effects caused by the medicine she's taking for cancer? Oh shit! The lie works the guys over, but Haley notices a bracelet around Ma's wrist that had previously been shown to her by that birthday girl, Stephanie.
It's my birthday!
We know, Stephanie, we know. With Haley missing a ring as well, she and Maggie learn that Ma's been thieving from her. So while Sue Ann's at work, they head to her house and break in. They find the second story closed off by a latched gate, and as they unlock it to keep looking, they don't notice that they're not alone. They don't find any of the missing jewelry, but they do find Sue Ann's creep stash of photos from the past and present, like Andy and his dad on opposite sides of a photograph. Speaking of Andy's dad, Ben walks into the vets with a nice-looking kitty cat and acts surprised to find Sue Ann behind the desk. They briefly reminisce about being young again and make plans to go to the pub after Sue Ann gets off of work. It's an enticing invitation that reminds her of a more lurid proposition she got in high school, one where Ben asked her via note to meet her in the janitor's closet. Maggie and Haley get jump-scared by Jeannie, that girl from school who Maggie had met on her first day. She hasn't been to school in weeks because her mom's been keeping her home since she gets sick a lot. And speaking of her mom, Suan's getting home right now. That sends the girls scrambling, but thankfully, Jeannie cool.
I'm not telling you where you know. Oh no, you're not saying shit.
After Maggie and Haley leaves, Jeannie asks her mom if she can go back to school yet, but that ain't about to happen.
You're too sick. And these doctors, they don't quite see it yet.
Yep, this is a Munchausen by proxy situation, sharp object style. Jeannie's not actually sick. Suan just makes her think she is, which makes it much easier to keep her locked upstairs. Suan gets to the pub for her date with Ben, and while she waits for him, she thinks back to high school when Mercedes was helping her get ready for that janitor closet debauchery with Ben. Ben presently arrives at the pub and exchanges pleasantries before he stops the conversation by pulling out a personal tracking device. He keeps these on all of his company vans, and because of that, he knows where Andy's been driving.
Why the fuck is my son spending time at your house?
He suspects that Suan is trying to get back at him for what he did to her back in high school, then calls her a loser and threatens to hurt her if she doesn't stop talking to his son. Awkward! Maggie gets home and finds Suan sitting and chatting with her mom, since the two of them knew each other back in high school. With Erica watching, Maggie and Suan introduce themselves to each other, acting like they don't get shit-faced together on the regs. Before she leaves, Erica tells Suan that she can stop by anytime. Anytime. Hear that, Maggie? As Suan walks away, we get the final piece of her backstory. After going down to the janitor's closet to go down on Ben, she left the room to find a cool surprise. Ben Hawkins standing in the hallway. These asshole kids, Revenge of the Nerd style, rape Suan, tricking her into giving oral sex to a dude who wasn't Ben. That is so fucked up, man. It's more fucked up than the idea of a horse-scented air freshener. And what's going to get some kills on this couch? Check it out, Ma. It's Mercedes on her morning jog. She'll do. Suan runs her down without even a second thought. Or, well, I guess 1 second thought. Damn, left that lady just a messy pile of roadkill. That night, Maggie hears Louis whining outside and finds him bleeding. Maybe that shadowy figure over there might be able to tell you what happened. Oh, never mind, she knows. It was Suan, clearly, who returns to her workplace, where we see that she's also murdered her boss, Dr. Brooks, and stuffed her body in a cage. Suan takes some more drugs from work, which come in handy later when Ben shows up at her house looking for his son. But Andy's not there. Suan just stole the man's tracking device to make Ben think that was the case, tricking him to come there for a nasty neck needling. He wakes up to find that Ma's gone full Sue Annie Wills. She threatens to dismember him for the cruel trick he played back in high school, but instead decides that that would be too easy.
You see, you treated me like a dog because that's what you are.
Because he's a dog, she's now going to take this dog blood, which she got from Louis, and transfer it into the dude. Dog's blood for a dog, I guess. I'm going to sleep then. With Louis hurt, Erica wants to call Suan for help, forcing Maggie to reveal that she knows Suan and that chick Craig. Erica grounds Maggie.
Took so much fucking blood from that dog, bro. We're like, bro, oh my god.
But a video from Ma shows Maggie that her friends are still partaking. Come join us, Maggie. Join us. Maggie
Join us.
She can get her friends to leave, but she finds everyone a bit more inebriated than usual, because Ma brewed up a special batch of punch tonight. It's the kind of punch that's sure to score a TKO, and all of Maggie's friends start dropping like drunk flies. Ma locks them in the basement and bars the front door too, leaving Maggie upstairs where she finds Ben's dead body, still tied up and splayed out on the bed. Man, how do you even wind up in a position like this? Well, I'll tell you, it starts with a needle in the neck. Erica wakes up the next morning and finds Maggie missing, because she is a little tied up right now in Ma's basement, along with the rest of her crew. They're so knocked out that Chaz doesn't stir, even when Suan decides to scar him with a hot iron to the chest. That was meant to ruin his, quote, perfect body, and for Haley, the popular girl who's always talking, Ma's got another home remedy. Straight sewing that mouth shut like she's about to kick off Saw 4. Next up on Jigma's list is Darrell, whose face she paints white because, something about there only being room for one black person in the friend group? I don't know. Andy wakes up and asks Ma what's going on, and she responds with a slow dance, since they're the basement's cutest couple. Wow, could this get any more disturbing? I guess so. Oh, okay, yeah, it's more disturbing. You can stop now. Suan only stops making out with this drugged-up minor when she grabs a knife and stabs him in the side with it. She brandishes the knife at Maggie until she hears her doorbell ring. It's that cop, Officer Grady, who's asking about the vehicles on her property. She makes up an excuse, and he's just about ready to leave when he hears Maggie screaming for help, and that gets him shot 2 times by Sue-Ann with that old gun of hers. Wonderful role model that she is, she forces Jeannie to assist her in dragging the body inside. Erica enlists Stu to take her to Ma's house, maybe hoping that he can help by going all Psycho Pete. Better hurry now, y'all, because Sue-Ann's growing ever weirder, showing Maggie her Jim Jam yearbook and making her take a photo of her with her bestest friend. Really wish they hadn't shown this scene in the trailer. It managed to be both spoilery and misleading. With the new yearbook pictures taken, Sue-Ann hangs Maggie up by her neck and leaves to let her die. At the top of the stairs, though, Jeannie, Flynn Rider's her mom, finally ready to fight back. Then inadvertently starts a fire, so Jeannie comes downstairs to help Maggie, and together they free everyone else as they start to wake up. Erica and Stu arrive just in time to help the kids out of the basement. But Sue-Ann grabs Jeannie and pulls her back towards the growing fire. Erica says that she's sorry for what happened to Sue-Ann back in high school, and that she should have tried to stop it, but ultimately didn't. Unlike Maggie right now, who's more than capable of taking action and stopping this shit in its tracks. They all escape, leaving Sue-Ann behind as she yells for Jeannie to come back. But that Jeannie's out of the bottle, as Sue-Ann can see, so she goes back upstairs and settles in next to Ben on the bed. She rests her head on his chest and looks very nearly content as her house goes up in flames, almost certainly killing her. How many kills did Ma score before burning up her house?
That was such a weird ass movie, bro.
Only 5 people died in Ma, and with 3 women and 2 men victims, that gives us one of those rare red majority pie charts. With a runtime of 99 minutes, that left us with a kill on average just under every 20 minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to Mercedes. It's very sudden, good for a shot, and kicks off the kill count, so solid all around. To help us any for lamest kill, we'll go to Dr. Brooks, as we just see her bloody body in a cage. Almost looks like she's napping with her eyes open or something. And that's it. Ma came out in 2019, another release by... Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James H. and today we're looking at Truth or Dare, released in 2018. Truth or Dare was produced by Blumhouse Productions, which throughout the 2010s became an absolute powerhouse of the horror genre. Led by the ebullient Jason Blum, who should definitely come on What's Your Favorite Scary Movie, Blumhouse has pumped out hit after hit using a tried-and-true company model. Give directors creative freedom with a smallish budget, usually under $5 million, and reap the rewards when those movies clean up at the box office. Though their output may be more quote-unquote mainstream than the art house films distributed by A24, I think that together, these two companies have helped usher in our current horror renaissance, breathing new life into the genre. Which is not to say every Blumhouse film is a good one, and many count Truth or Dare among its weaker endeavors. Starring Lucy Hale of Pretty Little Liars fame, who I wasn't familiar with back in 2017 when I mistakenly called her an unknown in the Scream 4 kill count. Truth or Dare is a supernatural story centered around the titular slumber party game and a demon that uses it to kill people. With its slick production and youthful cast, it's very clearly aimed at a teenage audience. Bitch. Explains why it was released to theaters with a PG-13 rating. For this kill count, I'll be using the unrated home release version, but trust me, it's not different enough to warrant a cut comparison. It's only 30 seconds longer, and most of the extra footage is of the characters drinking alcohol, with only a few additional shots of gore. Though not everything about this movie is bad, Lucy Hale is a solid leading lady, and I like the way the game's rules play out among the participants. Overall, it's definitely one big old pile of meh. There are a lot of clumsy plot details, especially as it nears its conclusion, and it's hard to get over how stupid the Snapchat filter smiley faces look. They even ADR'd a line about it after the rest of production was finished.
It looked like a messed up Snapchat filter.
I think the best way to sum up how I feel about Truth or Dare is to compare it to the very similar Countdown. In that movie's kill count, I said that if you were new to horror movies, you could pick something worse to watch. Well, this is something worse to watch. Dare me to count all the kills in this movie? I've got to tell the truth. I was hoping you would. The movie begins looking like the music video for Skylar. Watch out for Bruce Willis, y'all. A tired-looking young woman named Giselle is at a gas station in Mexico when the attendant asks her a simple question.
Truth or dare, Giselle?
I don't want to play anymore.
Truth or dare?
Next thing you know, Giselle is lighting a woman on fire, saying she didn't have a choice. The woman goes up in flames and runs Toasty out the door, collapsing on the ground into a title card. The story behind that opening scene, and actually how the movie got made in general, might help explain why it's so poorly regarded. It all started when Michael Moses, Universal's co-president of worldwide marketing, asked Jason Blum to make a movie about the game Truth or Dare. And that was it. They just gave him a title and told him to make a movie. Blum took the idea to Jeff Wadlow, who, again, was only given the name to work with.
Do you want to make a scary movie called Truth or Dare? And I said, yeah. Do you have a script? What do you got? He said, we got nothing. We got a title.
Wadlow, who wrote and directed Kick-Ass 2 in 2013, was a good choice for the project. His feature film debut, 2005's Cry Wolf, was also about a bunch of college kids playing a game that turned deadly, as discussed on the Deadbeat podcast a while back. In his meeting with Blum, Wadlow came up with the opening scene on the spot, then wrote the rest of the movie with a writer's room that included Michael Rice and married writing partners Jillian Jacobs and Chris Rouge. And it all started with an executive saying, make a movie with the title Truth or Dare. Not exactly a passion project, you know? Lucy Hale plays Olivia Barrett, a do-gooder college student who would be spending her spring break building houses with Habitat for Humanity, if not for her longtime best friend, Marky.
I unsigned you up.
You what?
Yeah, I told Habitat you have shingles.
Damn, Marky's messing with life plans and shit? Anything for a party, I guess. Marky and their roommate Penelope are woo girls to the max, and are just fine coercing Olivia onto their Mexico trip, along with Penelope's boyfriend Tyson and their friend Brad. Marky's boyfriend Lucas is also coming along, and is happy to see Olivia joining them, but perhaps not as happy as she is to join him. With 3 cheers for youth, the kids take off for an opening credits sequence showing them driving into Mexico and living an Instagram ride. Or a Snapchat life? I don't know, man. Whatever it is, it involves a whole bunch of alcohol and horniness.
Oh, I want to lay you. Let's go back to the government.
The footage for this sequence was filmed by the cast themselves during a trip to Rosarito Beach in Mexico, which they went on a week before production began so they could all bond together.
And we had a crazy night.
To really cement the bonding, the cast even played Truth or Dare. Everyone except Lucy Hale.
They were all in the hot tub. Lucy's got a bedtime, and it was past Lucy's bedtime, so I didn't play, actually.
On the last night of their dancing sexy times vacation, Olivia is chatting with Lucas when she sees Marky grinding on another dude. What, right behind him? Sounds like it's nothing new, though. Marky is a serial cheater, and Olivia's always bailing her out. At the bar, Olivia runs into a classmate named Ronnie, who's one of those sex pest type things. But when a handsome stranger named Carter interjects on Olivia's behalf, Ron backs down to go take some shots.
Oh, look at this big ass spider.
So I'm gonna leave now because of what you said.
Carter hits it off with Olivia, and after the bar closes, he suggests to her friends that they head to a super cool secret spot to keep the party going. He leads them all to an old abandoned church, where inside he, has a cooler with ice and beer in it? How's that been here this whole time? Also, somehow, Ron appears out of nowhere.
You can't keep Ron from the party.
That's a scientific fact. Carter suggests they play a game of Truth or Dare as a way to discover each other's secrets and make their friends do things they don't want to.
That actually does sound kind of interesting.
Does it? Why is Tyson responding like this is the first time the game's ever been explained to him? They agree to play, since it's the name of the goddamn movie, and after a quick selfie, Olivia's the first up to bat. She picks Truth, and Brad asks her if she'd rather save the lives of everyone in Mexico or the lives of everyone in this room. A utilitarian, humanitarian, Olivia picks Mexico.
I love you, but millions of people? Come on. It's the only right answer.
Alcohol continues to lubricate the game, with Penelope daring Ron to give a lap dance to Tyson, and Marky daring Lucas to streak for them. Then Tyson, a major doucher, asks Marky an awkward truth.
Are you aware that Olivia is in love with your boyfriend?
What the fuck, Dad? Penelope tries to move things along by asking Brad who he'd make out with out of everyone there. He chooses the Daniel Radcliffe-looking Carter, by the way. But Olivia, mad at Tyson, bites back at him with a judgmental dare.
I dare you to stop selling forged prescriptions to freshmen.
Olivia, always with the moral high ground.
Penelope's turn comes next, with Ron naturally daring her to make out with Olivia. And when she finishes up the round by asking Carter what his plans are with Olivia, things get somehow even less fun.
I needed to find someone with friends that I could trick into coming here. I could tell Olivia was a pushover, which made her an easy target. I'm okay with strangers dying if it means I can still live.
Oh, thought you were just trying to get your dick wet, Dave. Carter pieces out, but not before telling Olivia that they must continue to play the game going forward.
Tell me the truth, or you die. Do it there, or you die.
His point is punctuated by a bunch of scary faces, but they disappear in a hurry. Don't worry, though. You'll see them fucking plenty. After spring break concludes, the kids head back to college, but Olivia just can't seem to shake the game of truth or dare. It's scribbled on her desk, written on the back of a flyer, and even engraved in the side of her car. Olivia and Marky haven't talked since the game, so Marky stews alone in her bedroom, watching a video on her phone of her father, who recently killed himself. You know, Marky sucks, but it's hard not to feel bad for her here. She and Olivia try to make up over mojitos, with way too many nicknames in them. But the next day, Olivia's confronted by a stretchy face in the library.
Hey, Olivia.
Yeah, she's getting stretchy-faced all over the place. Though the face filter is not always applied uniformly. Friggin' beanpole back there looks normal as fuck. The hallucinations harass her with a chance of truth or dare until she yells out truth in desperation.
Marky's constantly cheating on Lucas.
Oh, come on, Leah. This is a library. Great, you made it too loud for Lucas to study here. But how are you about to get mad at Olivia, Marky? You're the ass.
RT fans, your network just got stronger. 7B is finally here with...
Told here. That night at a bar, Ron is harassing a woman when she becomes a stretch-face strong and asks him truth or dare. He's into it enough to answer dare, so she tells him to stand on a pool table and hang dong. He's just about to do it when some wang haranguing begins, and after he changes his mind and refuses to do the dare, he suddenly becomes possessed. God damn it, this face looks so fucking dumb. Well, that death is not too bad, to be honest. Correct? Olivia is telling the others about what she saw in the library when they all get texts with a video of Ron's accident. Olivia sees that he was playing truth or dare, but nobody believes her about the game having followed them. That is, until Lucas is walking home through the town's graffiti district. The question daunts him, and then an engraving on his arm, causing him to answer a truth that he reveals to Olivia on the phone.
I've had feelings for Olivia since we met.
And that's how you construct a sturdy love triangle. With Lucas vouching for her now, Olivia tells everyone that the game is moving through them in the same order they played in Mexico. She was first, then Ron, who's gone, and then Lucas. And next up will be Marky. Sure enough, Marky gets a text asking her truth or dare. And although she doesn't believe any of this, with Olivia's insistence, she plays along. Her dare is to break Olivia's hand, and since Olivia's practical as hell, she grabs a hammer and orders the deed done. It's a good scene where Marky is understandably hesitant until Olivia finds the right motivation for her.
Don't tell me you're a fucking coward like your dad.
Yep, that'll do it. Lucas and Brad take Olivia to the hospital, where, look, I'll be honest, the dead body is
She hit
gone,
that bitch.
I'm not gonna count it. They were
Don't
already
tell me you're a
dead
fucking
when we
coward
got
like your
there.
dad. She hit that bitch.
Some 2018 joke on bylaw or something, but
Oh,
no,
shit.
Situations like this, fuck it. The dead body becomes a Snapchat smiling ghoul who asks Brad truth or dare, to which he answers true. Bad time for his homophobic cop dad to show up. And we know he's homophobic because of some earlier clunky exposition.
Remind me why I didn't go to school thousands of miles away from my overbearing and homophobic father.
Well, so you could feed the audience that line, Brad. His truth forces him to come out to his father, but it happens off screen. We only hear about it later when he tells the others. Such a weird choice for a character's big emotional moment.
Word.
Tyson's up next in the game. But this poo-texted little American psycho ignores his friends' warnings as he heads into a med school interview so he can be a doctor. The interview ends with the dean asking him truth or dare, to which he can only respond with a very confused truth.
How long have you been forging prescriptions?
Tyson says that he doesn't. Since he didn't tell the truth, that boy's about to be a smiley vessel for self-harm. His friends arrive just in time to hear him stab himself in the eye with his lucky pen, and then drive it in deeper by slamming his head against the wall. Holy shit! This kill is the one most affected by the unrated cut, by the way. The kids try to track down Carter to see how they can stop the game, and end up finding an article about that Giselle chick who started the film, lighting a lady on fire. Good times. One rack focus later, they see that Carter is a friend of hers, so they message her, demanding that she meet with them. While they wait for her to respond, they decide that in order to survive the game, they'll only pick truth and never lie when they answer. Easy peasy, right? Not quite. Because when a drunken, morose Penelope is confronted by a smiley version of herself in the mirror, she's told she's not allowed to pick truth right now.
That's not how this game works.
She's forced to pick dare, and her dare is to walk around the roof of the house until she finishes a fifth of vodka.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, fuck. Oh, that's...
And how Lucas isn't allowed to physically help her because that would be cheating. I also love that, despite the movie's low budget, they filmed it practically with harnesses on a real roof. No green screens needed. Things get treacherous in the form of some spiky fence posts, but Olivia breaks the gate down in time for Penelope to finish the bottle and fall safely onto the mattress.
Is this my bed?
They hear back from Giselle and go to meet her in an alleyway, one that clearly doesn't have any running water nearby, because that is one dirty lady. Giselle confirms that she and her friends, including some dude named Sam who trashed the place, played Truth or Dare in that Mexican church, after which the game started killing them one by one. She also explains why Penelope wasn't able to pick truth.
It's how we played. We called it 2 truths and a dare. If 2 people picked truth in a row, then the next person had to do a dare. But it was more fun that way.
Oh, yeah, that's a good house rule. Giselle says her friend got dared to find a new group to play, and that she also got a dare recently. To Meldown! Look out! She shoots at Olivia, but it hits Penelope, and the gunshot gun wound causes her to die in Olivia's arms. Giselle's dare was to specifically kill Olivia, though, and since she failed, her face becomes smiley, and her possessed form kills herself with a brutal gunshot.
No.
Now with Krill Ceramide,
Bro.
Sam's moisture barrier, Lubriderm.
Oh my god.
Olivia, Lucas, and Marky research the Mexican church and learn that it's the Rosarito Mission, which was the site of a massacre in 1967 that left a single nun survivor, Inez Reyes. Olivia runs upstairs to a room where she's attacked by a homeless guy who asks her truth or dare. She answers dare, breaking the poor guy of his possession, and he runs from the house, confused and scared. Yo, why are you chasing that dude, Lucas? You know he didn't do anything, other than give Olivia a dare.
He dared me to sleep with Lucas.
She tells Marky should pick dare, so everyone else should pick truth. But the selfless reasoning doesn't make Marky any less mad. Fuck off, Marky. You know the situation you're in right now.
I swear.
Why is everyone in this movie so dumb?
I don't think he knew where he was.
Oh, really? The possessed homeless guy didn't know where he was? Great detective work, dude. Olivia admits to Lucas that she actually picked dare because there's a truth about Marky that she's too afraid to answer. But it don't really matter why you pick dare, Liv. Y'all better get to shagging. Oh, damn. Still has a broken hand? Guess no foreplay then. It's an unexpectedly steamy sex scene for a PG-13 movie with Lucy Hale, until all of a sudden, it gets a little kinky. Lucas says truth, and he's forced to admit that he's truly in love with... Yeah, man? Because you know she's cheated on you like a lot, right? Marky's up next to the game, and her question is asked from her dad, who lives in her phone. She confesses that she's held on to the gun he used to kill himself, and he makes a scary suggestion.
Maybe you should get it.
Lucas and Olivia drive into Mexico so they can speak with the nun who survived that massacre at the church. These days, Inez Reyes is old and silent, not having spoken to anyone since the massacre, instead communicating with written messages. Olivia reads aloud about how Inez and the other nuns were sexually abused by a priest during their games of hide and seek. One day, the young nuns decided to fight back, so Inez summoned a demon named Kalex, who possessed all of their games. It dismembered the abusive priest, but forced the nuns to keep playing, killing them in turn until Inez was able to stop it.
The person who released the demon can trap it with a simple ritual, but only by his own hand.
She stopped Kalex by saying a spell and sacrificing her tongue into one of these spooky skull jars. I've got to admit, though, that I always mentally check out when supernatural horror movies get into detailed spells and rituals, and I hate trying to convey it all in kill counts. They tell Brad that they have to track down that Sam dude who Giselle said trashed the place. If Sam broke Inez's spooky skull jar, it would have released Kalex, so he's got to be the one to donate his tongue to the swear jar. Brad is pulled outside by his dad, who, by the way, is played by Tom Troy, who voiced Liu Kang in MKX.
Illusions are petty magic.
I knew he sounded familiar.
This is no illusion.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's dope.
No matter what, but then
I knew he sounded familiar.
There by a demon voice on his dad's radio. He's forced to choose Dare, and his challenge is to make his dad beg for his life. After one last hug, he grabs the service weapon and gives it a go. But his dad doesn't beg in time, and Brad is shot and killed by his dad's police partner. Or probably, you know, his future ex-partner. Really shot your partner's son, dude? Damn. At the police station, the final 3 players are reunited, and Olivia is asked truth or dare by a stretchy-faced Lucas. She says dare to avoid the uncomfortable truth she mentioned, but it doesn't work.
Dare you to tell Marky the secret you fear most.
Oh, the old daring to tell a truth loophole. Works every time. Olivia's confession is a tragic intersection of backstories. One day when she was upset, she went over to Marky's house, and Marky's drunk dad made a move on her. She resisted, he persisted, and when she finally stopped him, she told him something he took to heart.
I told him that you'd be better off if you were dead.
Shit, that's how you kill a friendship, folks. And a dad, too, I guess. A detective
Crazy.
mentions that everyone seems to be dead except for the love triangle trio and Giselle's friend Sam, who, turns out, is actually Carter. I think the whole Carter-Sam thing is a real shitty plot-stalling mystery to have, but whatever. At least it's over now. A distressed Marky retrieves the gun her dad used to kill himself, and when Olivia gets home later, she finds her friend pointing it at her own face. Olivia apologizes for what she told Marky's dad, and Marky says it wasn't her fault. So, here, let's just end this sappy shit and get to the finale, right? They drive to Carter's and abduct him from his tinfoil apartment with the help of Marky's dad's gun.
Sweet little Olivia's not shooting anyone.
Try me. I dare you.
Ugh, that's a trailer line if I've ever heard one. The four of them go back to Mexico and back to the old mission, where inside they force Carter to start reciting the prayer Inez wrote down for them. During his recitals, the place gets shaky and Carter's face gets stretched. Lucas dumbly picks Dare, even though truth was available to him, and he's dared to kill either Olivia or Marky.
Bitch.
Dare.
Because I knew if I didn't, then one of you would have to.
Yeah, you moron, but y'all are about to end it with the seance, remember?
You're such an idiot.
All of you are! Carter finishes his recital,
Such an
and
idiot.
Olivia tells him there's one more thing he's got to do.
I need you to cut out your tongue.
With the place collapsing all around them, and Lucas becoming possessed for failing to complete his dare, it's getting to be 10 past tongue cutting o'clock, dude, so get to it! Oh, he's actually doing it. Well, good. The possessed Lucas doesn't want to let Carter finish, though, so he gets the girls off of him and stabs Carter in the stomach with his knife, which quickly kills him. Then he takes that knife and slits his own throat with it, though his neck looks weird and fake in the shot with the blood. God, dude, why did you pick Dare? With Carter dead, they're unable to stop the game, but Olivia's got one more trick up her sleeve. A dead Lucas asks Marky the titular question, and Marky is dared to shoot Olivia. She refuses to do so, allowing Kalex to possess her, but then Olivia makes it so the dare is technically completed and asks the demon himself, truth or dare.
I understand what you're asked here, and those are the rules, right? So truth or dare, asshole.
Kalex chooses truth and tells Olivia that they'll never be able to escape the game. It'll always come back to their turns. Olivia realizes that the best thing she can do is prolong the inevitable indefinitely.
Olivia has the epiphany that they can spread the game. They can invite the entire world to play and never have another turn.
Yep, Olivia's character arc is apparently learning that it's okay to sacrifice the many to save the few.
That's
to keep herself and Marky
crazy.
alive,
I
Olivia
never
spreads the game out to as many people
never
as
put that
possible,
together.
uploading a video that's watched all over the world. In it, she invites everyone to be part of the game.
I'm so sorry, but I have to ask you. Truth or dare?
But the movie ends before we see any more kills, so don't even start with me on that shit. How many
That's
people
that
died
bullshit,
there?
boy.
Movie? Let's find out.
Oh, I'll be so fucking mad.
Ooh.
I'll be so fucking mad.
Face muscles.
Like, bitch. Like,
8
bitch.
people died in Truth or Dare, with 5 male
Bitch.
victims and only 3 female victims. Dude, I told you to invite more chicks to the party.
Oh,
With a runtime
man.
of 101 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 12.63 minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to Tyson for sure. My least favorite character and during my favorite death, and they used practical effects to make it happen. I always love that. Y'all Machete for lamest kill, and go to Brad, who was shot Another Dare came out in 2018, and there's talks of a sequel in development, but we'll see. On Sunday, we're looking at the cult classic Jennifer's Body. But until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this Kill Count. Just a reminder that I want to cover the movies that you want to see, but I'd rather have the comments on the video be about that video. Plus, it's impossible for me to keep track of YouTube comments. So please, if you want to request a movie, send an email to deadmeatmovies@gmail.com. Any requests set there get recorded and tallied, so I can see what's the most requested. Thanks, everyone. Be good people.
Bluey, Bingo, Bandit and Chili are coming to a theatre near you. Join the Healers in their first ever live stage show, Bluey's Big Play. We can't wait to see you there.
Boy, Lucky Lennox ain't gonna be down here for this month, boy. Would have been in that bitch for both of them. You feel me? Well, we gonna do something, dog. We gonna do something, dog. We gonna, I gotta get right. So yeah, I appreciate y'all.